Good afternoon. I I spoke yesterday about a few of my tells. How I know when I'm going downhill with my mental health, when things aren't too great, and I need to take action. So I thought I would do a little video about my coping mechanisms, and in particular talking about short-term, medium, and long-term solutions. It's quite a complex. Long-term solutions are always best, but they're always the hardest to do. There's a quote on something. The first step is the hardest of. I'll get that quote, but yeah, I've to give an example of short, medium, long-term solutions. Something I would put as a medium-term solution is something like the pharmaceutical antidepressants that you can take. It can take quite a long time to kick in, but sometimes when you're in a really bad place, they'll help you get to a place where you can start to put long-term things in place. So as my medium-term thing, I really would say, looking at antidepressants and things like that. Long-term solutions, and they're the hardest things, we're talking about enjoying exercise regimens, we're talking about hobbies, we're talking about fulfilling dreams, all those things that are hard to do. And there's a massive conflict between, but they're the hardest to do, but the ones you get the most benefit from, certainly in terms of mental health. I've left the short-term ones to the end, because I think short-term ones are sometimes the ones that have the biggest impact. When you do have anxiety and depression, sometimes you need something there and then. And I think as an adult, there's an inclination to have a pint or a joint or whatever your particular thing is. And some of these things can be brilliant short term, but they bring their own problems with them, especially if you become reliant on them as a short term. And sometimes some of these things can be so effective as a short term, apart from bringing their own problems, that it hampers those long-term solutions. If you always go for the short term, you'll never do the long term. If you don't do the long term, will you ever truly get away from it? Will you always just be papering over the cracks? That's not to say that short-term solutions don't have their purpose. I think one of the hardest things to do is have short-term solutions which aren't, chemical-based and things like that. And sometimes short-term solutions aren't that easy, but can be worth doing. I think having something that can really help you in the short term. Sometimes walking can help me. Sometimes I can go for a walk and my head just doesn't stop. I'm still just thinking about whatever's on my mind, playing on my mind, dominating my mind. It doesn't help. You need something to change the mindset, which is very difficult when you're with anxiety or depression, but it's not impossible. And I'm going to tell a little story from about 20 years ago about a mate of mine. Let's call him Dave. Okay, that's a name that let's just call him Dave, so not too embarrass him. But I was in a time where I couldn't get off the sofa. And he looked after me. Him and his wife at the time looked after me, and they made sure there was a good supply of Happy Gilmore for me to watch. And I was indulging in those short-term solutions, chemical-based at the time. And it was dulling the pain, cutting the corners off the day on a daily basis, but it wasn't stopping the problem. And then one morning, he just turned up at my door about 6 o'clock in the morning, dragged me out of bed, stuck me in his car with a duvet, said, "Go to sleep, I'll wait you when we get there." And I was like, "Where are we going?" And he was determined to put a smile on my face. So I slept, he drove, and then he woke me up, and we're at Alton Towers. And he introduced me to the concept of chink chink woo factor, which basically is forcing a smile onto your face. You can be in the worst place. When you go on a roller coaster, you go up, chink, 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 and then you go down, and it's a big woo. And it was amazing. I had been so down for 6 months, and I don't know how much he had thought it out, but it was exactly what I needed. Now, you can't always go to Alton Towers, but I think that you can find short-term solutions that work for you. A big one for me is singing. I can't sing for shit, but I fucking love singing. And it's something which can immediately change your mood. You know, music is a fantastic healer. But sometimes you can't just listen to music, because the same as with thoughts, if you don't fully immerse yourself, you have to fully immerse yourself to escape from, the feelings that you're trying to escape from, the anxiety or depression or things like that. So for something like music to work, you have to really immerse yourself into it. You have to sing out loud. And what I do, I'm sorry, I say you, I mean I'm only talking about, things that have helped me. So yeah, singing is a short-term thing that can really help me. Sorry if this was a bit jumbled. I'm not looking at being entirely professional or anything like that. Just getting my thoughts across as they come out. And cool. Have a lovely afternoon. Take care.